arrive at the rink, you should make sure that the scoreboard is lit up. If it's not lit up, you'll need to talk to Mike or somebody in the office who can hit the circuit breaker for you to turn the scoreboard on. And the control box should be out here on the counter. If not, you'll have to get that from Mike as well. There is an on and off switch in the back here. Let's turn it on if it's not already on. Scoreboard should be lit up in some manner. There'll be at least some blinking lights if the scoreboard is on by the circuit breaker. Depending on what team is playing, Northwest Hockey League or a high school team, you're going to have to place a different amount of time on the clock for the periods. It's best to talk to the refs with the high school games before the game starts so you understand how much time to put on the clock. Northwest Hockey League generally plays 11-minute periods, and I believe high school plays 13-minute periods. First thing you'll need to do is to set a new game. In order to set the clock for a new game, you'll hit the shift button, hold it down while you hit the period new game button. The screen will ask you for new game. 4 is yes, 6 is no. You hit 4 for yes and enter. That will reset the clock to the default, which is 11 minutes. The score will be 0-0 and the scoreboard will reflect the first period. In order to set the time for a high school game, you'll need to set the clock. In order to do that, there is a clock set button. You'll press the clock set button and you can hit 1300 for 13 minutes. Hit enter and that will put 13 minutes on the clock. When the game clock starts, there's a switch, a toggle switch on the side here that says time in. Time in means the clock is running. When it's against the time in, it's off. To start the clock, you simply press the toggle switch in the up position. The clock will run until you hit on the down position, which will stop the clock. Start the clock, stop the clock. When a team scores a goal, you'll see on the control box here, there's a button that says home goal, visitor goal. There's also one that says home score, visitor score. The home goal, visitor goal simply lights up the goal arrow on the scoreboard. And if you depress it, it comes off. In order to actually add the score to the scoreboard numerically, you'll hit, for example, home score, and you can press whatever number the score is and press enter, and that will place it on the clock. So for example, if the home score scored their second goal, you would hit home score, 2 for the number of goals, enter, and that will reflect 2 goals on the scoreboard. In the off chance the visiting team happens to score a goal, in order to set their goal, you would hit visitor goal, which will light the arrow, hit the visitor score, place a 1, and enter. I'm presuming they're only going to score 1 goal during the game. Before you start the game, you're going to want to take a look at the auto horn light. Currently this is not lit. The auto horn allows the horn to sound at the end of the period. What you'll want to do is hit the auto horn button. You'll see the auto horn light come on. That way the horn will sound at the end of a period. It's important to remember that when the horn sounds at the end of the period, it will continue to sound until you press the time out toggle switch on the time in, time out switch. At the end of the period here, time is running. We'll find that the horn will buzz, and you'll notice that it will continue to buzz until I actually push the toggle switch down to stop the clock from running. If you need to sound the horn at any time, perhaps to get the kids out of the locker room or before the puck drops, there is a horn button. By pressing it, it will sound the horn for as long as you hold the button. After the period buzzer sounds and you're in intermission, you will want to reset the clock for the next period. To do so, you will hit clock set, 1300, since we're doing 13-minute periods, enter. And when you do that, it will put 13 minutes back on the clock. You will also want to hit the period button, and you can enter 2 if it's a second period, 3 for third period. Make sure you hit the enter button, and that will put the second period or third period designation on the scoreboard. To set a minor team penalty, you'll look for the buttons that say either home penalty or visitor penalty. We're going to do a visitor's penalty. You'll hit visitor penalty, and the screen will show V penalty, and you can choose a 2-minute, 5-minute, or 10-minute penalty. We're going to choose a 2-minute minor. It will ask you to enter the player's number. Always do that in a 2-digit format. So for player 3, we'll do 03 and hit enter. Once you do that, 2 minutes will show up on the clock as a penalty for the visitors team. After the Huskies score their goal on the power play, you will need to manually remove the remaining penalty on the visitors team. In order to do that, you will hit visitor penalty, You will press the clear button. Since you're clearing the penalty, you'll have to re-enter the player number that you had originally entered, in this case 03. Hit the enter button and it will ask you to enter the new time. You will simply enter 4 zeros, press the enter button, and that will show a 0 time remaining on the penalty. When the clock starts up again, that 0 will run off and the clock will be clear. In the event that there is a second penalty placed upon the visitors team in this example, you would do the same thing. You'd enter visitor penalty. We're going to give them a 5-minute penalty. And again, it's not number 03 because he's already off the ice, so we're going to put on player 14, enter, and then the 5 minutes will show up on the penalty clock. If there aren't any other hockey games following yours, you'll want to make sure that you turn the scoreboard off here by pressing the off switch in the back here, and then let somebody up front know about that so that they can have this put away. So that's how you run the scoreboard here at Ridgeland Commons. If you have any questions, there is a cheat sheet taped to the table right here next to the scoreboard. Let's go Huskies!